I'm here in Stockholm, and over the past few years, Sweden has become a real powerhouse in European mixed martial arts, and in no small part to the gym that's right behind me, All Stars. Everyone's very familiar now with Alexander Gustafsson. In the last 6 years, he's gone from a well-known Swedish fighter to a European and global star. And his next fight is against Daniel Cormier for the world title. So Unibet have brought me out here to have a look at his training and see what he's been up to. That's a good drill, I've not seen that before, I like it. The enthusiasm just for the warm-up drills is great. It just builds that camaraderie, it's important. People always talk about mixed martial arts as an individual sport. You know, you're in there on your own. And yeah, you definitely are. But only for that 15 or 25 minutes of the fight. All the rest of the time you're with a team. And it's important to have that team around you. As good as Alex is, he wouldn't be as good if he didn't have all of these training partners around him. These two guys that he's working with now, I think they're some kind of Hungarian wrestling champions. This is exactly what he needs for a fight against DC. And one thing that I will say about Alex, with an advantage over Cormier, is his conditioning. You know, if you watch any of his fights, he moves constantly, his footwork's great, and he can be constantly working and moving without slowing down. And I don't think I can say the same about Cormier. And this is another situation as well, when if he can get on top of Cormier and get him stacked against the fence like this, he can strike from a really high elevation, can land some really big shots with those long arms. There's definitely a confidence in his ability in every area of the game, other than probably the wrestling. So if he can cover all those bases, and when the fight comes around, he has the confidence that if it goes to the floor, he can get back to his feet. If it's in a clinch, he can take down the fence, and that will give him confidence in his striking. So Alex, we're at the Himlen in beautiful Stockholm. 26th floor, got quite a nice view here. What does it mean to you to be in Stockholm and to train here?
Well, it means a lot to me. It's my hometown, and I live just around the corner from here. So it's good to be home and train and have my coaches around me and my family and friends and all that. So it means a lot to me.
So tell me about your introduction to mixed martial arts, and what kind of started you off along this path?
So a friend of mine just introduced me to MMA. And I tried my first class in the beginning group, and that's how it started. So.
And did you find it quite easy straight away, or was it difficult to do something new, to be a beginner at something?
You know, it was kind of difficult with the grappling and the wrestling, and I wasn't even a good boxer back then. I was just like throwing punches. So, but you know, I always had a good drive in me, and when I train, I like to go 100%. So.
And how long did it take you before you knew that you wanted to compete?
Well, I've always been a competitive person, so right away, you know, you can train, but you know, the big motivation is the competition. So.
Tell me about Alex as a kid. What were you into? What interested you? What did you wake up in the morning and think about? Were there other things that interested you, other sports, obviously?
Yeah, as a kid, I was very energetic. I had a lot of energy in me, and I just did a lot of sports. I did ice hockey. I did football. I didn't like school at all. I didn't have the focus on the right thing. So, and I was everywhere. You know. You
had your debut at UFC 105, the same card. I was the co-main event for that fight.
Ranked number 10 in Europe, no titles yet. He says that is my goal.
You were undefeated coming into the UFC as well, 8-0, is that right?
Yeah.
So how was fighting in the UFC different to your other fights in your career up to that point?
You know, I dreamt about the UFC, and I really wanted to become a UFC fighter. And I just noticed right away how big it is, how big it was, the organization, the structure, just the football's, you know, Premier League, or it's in a whole nother level.
Connects with a straight right hand. That's it. He's out.
then you faced Phil Davis, and that was the first loss of your career. Where was your mind at? What was going through your head at that point?
I was disappointed, of course. You know, I'm a really bad loser. I hate to lose. I just knew that, well, I'm still a beginner. Like, I need to learn a lot. Not just train and do MMA, just how to be an athlete overall and live the life of an athlete. So I went over to Alliance and I started training with Phil and all the guys there, and we just started putting the whole work in, and I learned a lot.
And how was that? So you know, your first week at Alliance, I mean, it was probably a big shock.
It wasn't that much about learning techniques. It's just like, you know, more like how you approach things as an athlete. And, in Manchester, I was still working. I just did MMA for a hobby.
Right.
So after that trip, I really knew that I have to live MMA and I have to do it as a profession.
You'd made the move over to Alliance. You started working with Phil Davis, and you know, and really working on your ground game. And then you had 2 wins by submission. Was that something that had you changed your approach to the fight? Were you planning on winning by submission, or did it just naturally take that route?
No, I just felt that I've been growing as a fighter generally, and I could handle every situation in a fight, and I felt more confident. So I wasn't scared of getting taken down. I wasn't scared to end up in different situations.
And another attempt. It's all over! Alexander Gustafsson!
Everything happened so fast. I just fought my way up to the title, being a title contender, and it just felt like everything just happened like a second. Just felt like from my debut in Manchester to being in Toronto at the same octagon with Jon Jones, it happened very, very fast.
Tell me about the Jon Jones fight. Obviously now you're fighting for the world title, and you're fighting the guy that pretty much everybody considers to be the best fighter on the planet.
Well, I got massive support, first of all, from all my fans and my team.
Fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden, presenting the challenger, Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson.
He is the best guy out there. He's the best fighter of all time in the UFC, Jon Jones, no doubt about it. But as I'm fighting him, I couldn't think of him like that. I thought him just like an obstacle in my career and have to pass him and take that belt. So I did that, and I went in there, well, you know, everybody saw the fight, and we went all in for 5 rounds.
Over 120 significant strikes landed by the challenger.
Oh, again, beautiful left. The most impressive thing has not just been the striking of Gustafsson, but his ability to stuff the takedown.
Yep, see the blood rolling down the right side of Jon Jones's face. Gustafsson with the takedown. First time in the UFC.
I don't know if I overrated him a little bit or if I underestimated myself a little bit when it comes to that. But anyway, I took him down, and it just felt like, wait, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
And he was trying to take me down, and he couldn't. So I just felt like, well, you know, I've been fighting stronger guys at the gym. They've been taking me down.
As the fight was progressing, did you feel like you were winning the rounds?
Yeah, I knew I was winning the fight, but I didn't knew if I did enough. When I went in the breaks, they're like, you know, you have to push up the tempo. Like, but am I winning? Am I scoring? Like, hey, it's going good, but don't think about it now. Just push harder.
Yeah.
You know, don't try to think anything now. Just go. Like, I'm okay. I dominated in the 4th round. I did what I wanted to do with him in the 4th round, and then he hit me with that elbow.
That's my next question.
Yeah, so he just hit me with that elbow, and I'm like, hey, wait. So I saw like 3 of him out there. So I was really rocked by that.
Again, a nice elbow.
Caught him.
Oh, that might have hurt him.
Yeah, that did. Jones with a big
vicious knee and a vicious elbow.
The elbow stands out because really that was the best thing he landed in the whole fight.
Yeah.
And I could tell that you've been working so hard. You started to kind of pull back a little bit, and he caught you with that elbow, and all of a sudden there was a shift in momentum, and it kind of gave him a lift. And I think without that elbow, it would have been a clear decision for you.
Yeah.
It is in the hands of the judges now. Will we see a changing of the guard here at 205?
So the fight's over, and you're standing there. You got the referee in between you. What was going through your mind then? Were you confident that you'd won, or were you like, oh, you know, I'm fighting the champ, he caught me with that elbow? Where were
yeah,
where
I
were
had
you at
1,000
that
thoughts in my head, and I just wanted to, like, the judge to, like, tell us the decision. Like, don't drag this out. I just want to know who won this fight. That's all I want to know. So.
For the winner by unanimous decision, and still the undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Jon Bones.
If I'm meeting Jon Jones, if we see each other, we're still talking about the fight, and it was the best fight ever. Do you know that, right? Like, yeah, I know. Like, we're talking about it, so it's.
That's gotta feel good.
Yeah, I lost that fight officially, but I won it.
I agree with that.
Last year was a year of injuries for me. I blew my knee, and then I got my back. And it was like, I've been racing so long, and I didn't really thought about, rehabbing and all that stuff that you need to do with your body as an athlete. So everything just came after me and caught me. So I had a time when I had to rehabbing my body, and then I got the fight with Anthony. So I was very happy for that matchup, but the big thing for me was that I was fighting in Stockholm again.
Let's briefly talk about your fight with Anthony Johnson. I was octagon side for that. I had a similar situation in London. I just fought Georges St. Pierre, and I went 5 rounds, and I had loads of people telling me all nice things about my performance. And then I got Carlos Condit in London, and he knocked me out in the first round, and the whole arena went silent. It was a really weird night, and as difficult as it was at the time, immediately the day after, I was thankful that it happened, because I felt like I'd gained a lot from it. I felt like I got up off the canvas a different person. Talk about that fight. Give me an idea of what was going through your mind on the day after the fight.
I was very disappointed. It was a very hard time in my life. I didn't know if I would continue, if I should do something else, or I was doubting myself. And I was thinking, what happened? Like, because I haven't been knocked out before like that, so it was the first time. But I took a time off, and I went for a vacation, and
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back again.
Then back in training, but I didn't do stuff that I hate to do. I just trained what I wanted to do, train basically, and get back at it, get my motivation back.
Trying to lock it up and become the champion.
He's gonna tap.
It is all over. Daniel Cormier is the new UFC light heavyweight champion.
Everybody knows that Jon Jones is the best guy out there. Everybody knows that, and I know that. DC knows that. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But officially, DC is the world champion right now.
DC's always seemed much more interested in being the champion instead of being the best, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And from my perspective as a fan, I would still like to see DC, or yourself obviously, fight Jon Jones and get the win in order to have that belt and to own that belt.
That belt doesn't exist. You have to beat Jon Jones to be the best.
Yeah.
So if I beat DC, I won't be the best guy out there. He will still be around there somewhere, looking at me, waiting, hungry.
Yeah.
When I take the belt from DC, I'll see myself as a world champion. But if I see myself as the best guy in the world, I don't know. But I will see myself as a world champion.
So a little later, we're going to head back over to the gym, and I've got my training stuff in the car, so I'm gonna throw some gloves on and join in. And I'm very interested in the All-Stars team. You've got a real good working relationship, and it's very good camaraderie between the guys.
You're gonna see a packed house tonight, and we're probably gonna hit some pads.
Okay.
It's gonna be kind of intense.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's gonna be a fun workout.
Yeah.
He's doing good. It's hefty. Push up my level.
really well. A lot of crack in his punches as well. We know his right hand's dangerous. We've seen it so many times in the past. But and the left hook's the new weapon we're going to start seeing. It's always difficult fighting someone with that kind of reach, advantage and range. Anytime you're trying to move towards him, it's just a flurry of limbs. I think DC's going to have that same problem. He's going to be trying to close that distance, and it's going to be kicks, punches, elbows, knees in that order. He measures the shots that he wants to land, the shots that he knows are going to be more valuable to him. He looks really good. DC's way into this fight is just to crowd him and push him up against the fence and keep trying for that takedown. And Alex is not going to engage in that wrestle with him. He's not going to grapple with him. It's going to be a long night for DC to constantly keep that pace on him. And we know DC's got good conditioning, but we've also seen him slow down later rounds. I don't really think he knows what he's letting himself in for here, because Alex can be very easily underestimated. Those last 2 rounds, that's when we're going to see what I've just seen in the ring.